Today, I'm going to talk about something that I hear from so many women: food noise. Always thinking about food, feeling hungry all the time, and never really feeling satisfied. If that sounds familiar, this episode is for you. One of the biggest drivers here is estrogen. Estrogen helps to regulate our appetite as well as insulin sensitivity. But in perimenopause, you've probably heard me say it many times, it fluctuates a lot, goes up and down day to day. So when it dips, your blood sugar becomes more unstable, your cravings increase, and that hunger feels really loud. Then you add in poor sleep and the stress of midlife, and that hunger signal can crank up even more. Now, that blood sugar piece is really important. You've probably heard me talk about it before if you listen to other episodes of Perimenopause Simplified, and this is a big focus in our work with clients. When you eat a diet that is higher in processed carbs, or you're skipping meals, or you have an imbalance of macronutrients, this can create blood sugar spikes and crashes that leave you chasing food all day long, or binging later on in the day. Even healthy women who think that they're eating clean often undereat, and that backfires. Undereating can increase your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. It's going to disrupt your sex hormone production even further. It's going to impact your thyroid and your metabolism. I did a whole episode recently on undereating, so definitely go back and listen to it if you're struggling with cravings and that constant food noise. I would bet money that you are likely undereating or have an imbalance of macronutrients. I will link to that in the show notes. Another factor is your activity level. If you've recently added in strength training, or maybe you increased your cardio, or you're just walking a lot more steps every day because you're hearing how important movement is in midlife, your body needs more fuel to support that. Many women don't realize that building muscle requires extra protein as well as carbs and overall calories. But if you are under fueling, your hunger will scream at you. You're going to have cravings, you're going to end up reaching for unhealthy options, and even wake up in the middle of the night hungry. It is your body asking for what it needs in order to repair and recover. Then there is the stress and sleep piece. Both have a huge impact on your appetite. When you are chronically stressed, or you're not sleeping enough, your body produces more cortisol as well as ghrelin. This is your hunger hormone, and it suppresses your leptin. This is the hormone that signals fullness. Now, this combo is typically going to make you crave sugar and carbs for quick energy, like that sleeve of Oreos or your kids' Halloween candy. So if you feel like you're doing everything right, but you're still constantly hungry, it may be your stress load or sleep that really needs attention, not just what's on your plate. Many of our clients come to us with sleep struggles, so we do our best to unpack what's causing it so they can finally get the rest that they need. And yes, I have struggled with this as well. I know it's comical at this point how many perimenopause symptoms I've dealt with myself. So lucky for you, I can speak on them. Currently, I am tracking my macros more closely again. I have done this several times over the past probably 4 to 5 years, not in a super rigid way, but just to make sure that I'm actually getting enough food, because I always thought that I was eating plenty of food. But when I started tracking, it was incredibly helpful for me to see that data, because I realized that I was actually under eating and in a chronic calorie deficit, which is not ideal. That is a stress on the body. Go figure. So for me, that means making sure I am eating ample protein every day, a good amount of healthy fats, and plenty of carbs with fiber, things like sweet potatoes, quinoa, fruit, and all different types of vegetables, rather than highly processed carbs that send my blood sugar, and likely yours, on a roller coaster. And we don't need another roller coaster in midlife. It's not about restriction. It's not like I never have some good quality pizza or some treats. I love a cookie just like the next girl, but I make sure that I am fueling properly in this phase of life before I have those treats, right? Ample protein, ample fiber are necessary at all of your main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and are incredibly satiating. So a couple other things worth mentioning. Progesterone can increase appetite for some women. Think of it almost like being pregnant. Higher progesterone can make you hungrier. And testosterone also influences satiety as well as, of course, body composition. So if testosterone is low, you may feel less satisfied and have less muscle mass, which of course is going to make it harder to keep your blood sugar stable. Another reason why strength training is so important in this phase of life. We want to build that muscle up. If you're starting HRT, hormone replacement therapy, therapy, the dose really does matter. And it does take some time and patience to figure out what works for you with a hormone literate provider. Okay, and then there are GLP-1 receptor agonists. So these are medications like semaglutide or tirzepatide. I am sure you've heard of them by now. These drugs, if you will, work by mimicking the GLP-1 hormone, which slows gastric emptying and signals your brain that you're full, essentially quieting that food noise. Look, I'll be honest, unlike many people in the holistic space, I'm not against GLP-1s. I've even considered them myself. I think that they can be an incredible tool for the right person, especially when combined with the right nutrition and lifestyle support. Nothing is a quick fix. You still have to make the necessary dietary changes, lifestyle changes to really feel your best and set you up for healthy aging. Nothing is a magic bullet, okay? But they can help somebody break out of the cycle of that constant hunger and constant cravings, especially if you are doing all the things right. I often feel that way. I feel most days like I'm eating really well, but every now and then I will get those cravings or just hungry at night where I want to have a snack. But of course, I don't want a snack because I want to maintain my weight. I know it's so freaking frustrating in this phase. I feel you. I really, really do. All right. And then there's this other piece that I want to bring in because it's not always physical, that hunger. It certainly can be in this phase, but I don't want to ignore this. In midlife, could you be hungry for something more? If you're having a lot of cravings, if you're finding that you're really stressed, maybe you're not fully satisfied in certain areas of your life, maybe your relationship or your career or just the pace of your life. Maybe you've been running on autopilot for years, doing all the things for everyone, and food has become your quick source of comfort, pleasure, or control. It is worth pausing to notice where else you might be feeling that sense of emptiness or restlessness, because real nourishment isn't just about protein and carbs. It's about feeling fulfilled, supported, and seen in your life. So, if you're feeling like food is always on your mind, here are some steps to take in a nutshell. Check in with your overall intake. Many women aren't eating enough protein or calories in general. Try a macro app, or at the very least, log your meals on a notepad or in a journal for about a week and figure out how many grams of protein, carbs, and fat that you consumed, and then course correct if needed. Focus on balanced meals with ample protein and fiber-rich carbs, and of course, some healthy fats. Typically, you're going to have a lot of fiber, a good amount of protein, and a little bit of fat, about 2 tablespoons worth. And then you want to match your food intake to your activity level. Strength training and cardio are incredible, but they're going to demand more fuel. Of course, you want to do your best to manage stress in this phase of life, create more boundaries, start saying no to things, assess your own behaviors and habits, and assess your sleep. Both can increase these hunger hormones. And if you're on hormone therapy, notice how your body responds to it. Sometimes you just need to adjust your progesterone, estrogen, and or testosterone, and that can make a difference. As always, if you need any help with this, consider working with us in the Perimenopause Method program. You can apply via the link in the show notes. And if you want to learn more about how we work with women, check out my brand new free training, Why You're Exhausted, Moody, and Inflamed, and Why It's Not Just Your Hormones. You can sign up for that via the link in the show notes and get instant access. All right, my friend, I hope this was helpful to you. I will see you next week. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.